Hey guys, Long Island Weather here, back at you with another video. Today I just want to take a quick look at the update on these models for a potential winter storm on this upcoming Sunday, the 28th, 29th time frame of January. This is a brand new GFS here, so if we just quickly skip to the start of our system for parts of our area, by the time we get to Sunday morning, this is 1 a.m. on the GFS, it has a low pressure system on the border of Ohio, southwestern PA, and West Virginia. But notice we also have a low pressure forming right by North Carolina. And remember this when I show the European and Canadian and compare it to each other, there is quite a big difference between these three models. But as we continue here, you can see how this low pressure jumps from southwestern PA all the way back down into pretty much North Carolina. And why is that exactly? It's because we have a nice big injection of cold air with a high pressure to the north, so the low pressure can't go any further. But at the same time, there is a low pressure system forming, so all the energy transfers back towards the coast, allowing cold air to get dragged back down south and allows this area to get quite a decent snowfall. But with the GFS here, it does it a little bit too late. It holds on to the low pressure system in Pennsylvania on the northern part of the storm a little bit too long, and by the time the low pressure system off the coast gets going, it's way out to sea. As you can see here, it's pretty much north of Bermuda. But if we take a look at the upper air real quick and go to our vorts, you can compare it to past couple runs. You can see it's pretty much wide and progressive vort. We have our vort right up here, and as you continue towards the coast, it pretty much opens up and you do get a system, but it's nothing particularly strong in any way, shape, or form. And then it tries to, it's almost like a positive tilt here. So the low pressure forms out here and it just gets kicked out. But if we go to the European real quick, at this same time frame, notice we have a closed upper air low. That allows all the energy to get wrapped back in and a nice low pressure system to form in this general area. And if we go to the surface map of the European, you can see right where pretty much I highlighted the circle enclosed area, a low pressure system is formed, and pretty strong one too, as it gets to the coast and it drags down cold air, as you can see here, and our high is up in Quebec. If we take a look at, I don't know why I say Quebec like that, but if we go back here on the precipitation map, you can see how a low pressure system in, let's say, Virginia, West Virginia here, is a lot weaker, and our primary low is pretty much already forming and goes off the coast and pretty much rapidly strengthens due to our close off fort all the way up at 500 millibars. So if the European is right, it would pretty much give, let me just zoom in a little bit. All of this right now is snow, pretty much anywhere north of this line. Let me draw that back a little bit. Pretty much anywhere north of this line is snow on a European at this time. It won't probably be sticking much because at this time, this is the 32-degree line, so southeastern Mass out by the Cape really won't be sticking. On by the Forks of Long Island won't really be sticking, and central New Jersey is pretty hard. But definitely, if the European is right, I wouldn't be shocked to see 1 to 3 inches on Long Island, but this is way too far out. We're already only, I should say, at an hour 123, and there's definitely a lot of things to talk about here, a lot of different topics. Well, I wouldn't say topics, a lot of different dependencies, I should say, that rely on the system. And just to take a look at another model, the Canadian is pretty close to the European, but I wouldn't say exactly. It doesn't get up. It's not as intense as the European with the Vort, but you can see it gets snow all the way down to the coast and stays snow. It starts out as rain pretty much for Long Island, Connecticut, but as the storm gets going, intensifies, the cold air gets dragged back down south, and the rain snow line drops to the southern part of Long Island and southern parts of Jersey. The Canadians, right, you could also see another 1 to 3, but this is really marginal temperatures here, guys. And this is just, I wouldn't take this serious at all, but I just want to show you what it has. But right here, rain. I just want to show temperatures real quick. Cold rain, right? But as you can see, the rain and snow line drops really quickly south. This is the rain snow line at 1 a.m. Monday. Yeah, 1 a.m. Monday. And then look how quickly far south it drops as the low pressure starts to get going. And you still have precipitation going at this time. And then another tick, and then it drops all the way down to central Jersey. And then it stays cold, according to the Canadian, for the next day or so. So yeah, that's what the global models show at. Lastly, I just want to show the GEFs and the EPS, the GEFs and EPS. These are ensemble members of the global models. So the EPS is ensemble members of the European, and the GEFs are ensemble members of the GFS. Now, this is a brand new run of them, the 18Z, and we'll compare it to the 12Z in just a moment. But notice our low comes out from Texas and starts to head towards the northeast, and then at least towards the 90-hour time frame, our low starts to get going in West Virginia, then transfers the energy off the coast, and then pretty much tries to strengthen. But as we all know, it's pretty much similar with the GFS. It has a positive tilt 500 millibar vort, and pretty much it doesn't really get going till it's well out to sea. As you can see here, it starts to get going out there. But if we compare it to this time frame, let me just go back one. Compare it to this time frame at 102 hours to the past run. Notice it's 1,004 millibars mean as the pressure, and it's pretty much 37.29 and 72.46 west. And if we compare it to the new run, the old run, it's a little bit faster, but it's also stronger and more northeast. The overall mean compared to last run. So GFS is possibly ticking a little bit north. It's a little bit too early to tell. But if you were to go to the next run, you can see it's in about the same place, but a little bit stronger. So if what to take out of this, the new run of the GEFs is a little bit faster. It's pretty much in the same spot. I won't even lie to you. In the same spot, but there's a lot more on the western side, the cluster. So that's something to talk about. It's a little bit interesting. But now notice on the EPS here, it takes the low, definitely takes the low into West Virginia and Ohio region. But notice it starts to get that primary pressure going a lot faster in North Carolina. So this is at 96 hours. And if we want to, so this is 90 since that's the old run. If we compare it to now, what the new GEFs have, you can see the primary low is in West Virginia. The EPS, no, it's in North Carolina. And as you can see, it's all in here. There's like a few GEFs members that are in North Carolina, some even off the coast already. But a majority of them take it, the primary low, a lot stronger and a lot more west. So it's definitely something to talk about. And then notice how a European really gets it going, at least on this run. And there's a lot on the western side, and they're all sub 1,000 millibars, so that's also really interesting. So we have a long way to go. I'll just look at the Canadian because it's pretty much in the middle, I think. I haven't looked at this yet. So yeah, it's pretty much in the middle of both of them, which is fine take. I won't argue against it at this moment. But I just want to see this real quick. That's actually not that bad. I'm impressed that it gives that amount. So I would take this with a grain of salt. I would take this with a grain of salt when looking at these ensemble snow map totals because they change every so often. But if we were just to compare it, let me just fast forward a little bit here. So if we compare it to the old run, the 0Z, and take the trends, you can see the inch line, the 1 inch line is all the way down here pretty much, if I saw that correctly. Let me just take a look real quick. So yeah, the 1 inch line definitely came a lot further south. Let me just draw a line. I just want to see how far south it actually did come. So the light blue is the 1 inch line at 10-to-1 ratios. I'm pretty sure it would be higher, lower than that, but just to look at trends, you can see how much further south it did come, and you also have 3 to 4 inches in Boston, if that were to happen according to the Canadian. But then again, guys, we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we have roughly 5, maybe 5.5, 6 days until the storm comes, and we also have a lot of time to watch for inevitable trends. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you stay tuned because I'll be updating you guys as the storm progresses, and I hope you have a wonderful